Yeah, I've always I mention every day, as a matter of fact, how spectacular I feel for being on the Compass Fat Loss Diet. I started September 1st. I was on it for about 8 weeks. Was only going to be on for about 6 weeks, but I was so close to my goal that I said, listen, I might as well just reach my goal. It's only going to take me another week and a half. It ended up taking me an extra couple weeks. They extended my time, and let's face it, why do people go on diets, right? They go on it for vanity purposes. You know, I'm getting heavy, things aren't fitting as well, and I got to look good, particularly in the summertime. Truth of the matter is you want to be ready by summertime, so you go on these diets in every January, right? You see all the commercials and gyms. You start seeing gym commercials and all these different diets going on. But the truth of the matter is more importantly than vanity is health purposes. There are health concerns. And let's face it, you know it as well as I do, that there's a lot of obesity, more now than ever. These foods that we eat, they're so convenient. They taste so good, right? Kids are not getting the exercise that they used to get when my generation, we go out and play outside every day, year round, be athletic. Now it's a lot of indoor gaming and stuff. It's easier more now than ever to put weight on. That's why our next guest that we're going to welcome into the Daily Connerton Memorial Company interview chair is so successful. He has created a weight loss program that it knocked my socks off when I was researching all of the different. Listen, I could have gone to any weight loss program, okay? So research was done. I looked into all of these, and I said, well, you know what? I told the account exec, contact this Dr. Kusher from Compass Fat Loss. I really believe that based on the research that I have done, that he has the most effective plan on the market. Lo and behold, 8 weeks later, 30 pounds down. Let's welcome to the show, Dr. Kusher. Doctor, good morning.
Gary Byron, my friend and patient. How are you today?
Great. How are you, brother?
Never better, my friend. Thanks for asking.
It is an absolute pleasure to be chatting with you, and I'll thank you. I thank you personally. I thanked you when we've been on the phone, but I got to tell you, I want to thank you on the airwaves for really making my life a lot more healthy, making me look and feel better about myself, and really changing my life for the better in many ways.
The pleasure and the honor is mine, Gary. I've created a walking billboard, haven't I?
You really have. And you want to hear the crazy thing is, maybe once a week, where I'll be at I'll either be with friends and they'll be with friends and I'll be meeting people for the first time, or I'll be out, whether getting gas or running a quick errand, and somebody will come over to me, hey, Gary Byron, love the morning show, I listen to you all the time. Boy, I'm telling you, that diet, that Compass diet, I can see it, Gary, you're looking great. So they mention you, they reference Compass Fat Loss. They almost think of me synonymously with your product. If you can, quick, give us an overview of the weight loss program that you've created, and now our guests are really conducting virtually.
Yeah, it's a pretty common sense program, but it's based on a lot of cutting edge technology. So, in contrast to those programs that'll give you packaged foods and shakes and bars and stuff, those guys are going to get you some short-term weight loss. They're never going to keep the weight off sustainably. So we actually want our patients going to the grocery store, buying real foods, maybe shopping down a few different aisles, knowing how to prepare their foods, knowing how to order if they sit down to a restaurant. These are the ways that we're going to teach them the lifestyle changes that are going to become permanent. So when they get to weight goal, they're going to stay there. It's one thing to get the weight off. Anybody can do that. My focus is really to make sure that they stay there once they get there. And one of the other powerful tools that helps us do that is the technology and the constant monitoring. So as you know, Gary, once you got on the program, we're watching you every single day. So you have a special scale that you use. Everything gets synced to your cell phone. It gets transmitted every day. And we know how your progress is going day by day. And if we see you stuck in a sticking point, we'll reach out and pitch in and help make sure that progress stays consistent. So we head on down to goal consistently and we stay there. And then we monitor patients long term. It's not just a one-off and you're done. You reached your goal weight or close to it really fast. We have other patients that come in, have a ton of weight to lose, a lot of health issues. We stick with them long term and make sure that they stay there and they get those benefits that they came in looking for.
No, it's true. Well, you talked about the scale and the Bluetooth and the app that's synced to it. The scale is significant, which, by the way, it's part of the program. You sent it to me. You had somebody walk me through with connecting it to my iPhone, not my iPhone, my smartphone. I have a Droid. in the app. I downloaded the app. Everything got synced together. And then when I step on the scale every morning, and it's not just pounds, it's pounds and ounces, it sends something to you. And you get back to me every day with either words of encouragement or words of modification. And I remember there were times when it was like, I remember going 3 days in a row without any movement. I didn't gain weight, but I didn't lose weight. So I was, scratching my head going, wow, I'm following the diet to a T even. What's wrong? So you reached out to me and said, all right, listen, a couple of days is one thing. You got 3 days. Let's make an adjustment. You made a slight adjustment to my diet. I lose a pound and a half the next day. It's just incredible. Can you speak to that a little bit, and maybe some of as well as some of the health risk assessments and working with the? I know you work with a cardiologist as well. If you can just kind of cover that.
Yeah, sure. That's the beauty of the technology. The system is set up so if you don't lose for more than 2 days, we're going to get a red flag. We're going to reach out to you, myself or one of my coaches, and we're going to say, hey, what's going on? We'll fix it. We'll continue on down the line. But, you mentioned that we see your weight every day. We see a lot more than that, Gary, as you know. So we've programmed the technology to also read a whole bunch of health risks that I see every day, which are percentage of body fat, visceral fat, muscle mass, hydration, BMI, all these things that give me not only an idea of where your weight is going, but where your health values are going. So the goal here is to get all those health values in optimal range for you. And then we know you're at your goal weight. And the weight loss, I hate to say it, it comes along as almost a side effect. We do work with Dr. Jeff Thompson, who's a premier cardiologist here with us. He's our medical director, and he helps us assess a deeper dive into cardiovascular, inflammatory, neurological risk too, through some testing that we do. So it turns out to be a really comprehensive program that treats the whole person. It's a wellness process, and the weight comes off, again, almost as a side effect, but it's a total package.
What do you think is the hardest part of being on this program? What do your patients tell you that is, this is the most difficult part? Because I answered that question earlier this morning, and I think it surprised a lot of people. Were saying if that's the hardest part, this has got to be a pretty easy program. But I wanted to get your, since you talk to all of your patients, what do you say would be the number one hardest or most difficult aspect of maintaining the program?
Well, now, Gary, I don't know what you said, so you got me at a disadvantage, but I'll take my best shot. I think most patients tell me that day 2, day 3, as they segue into it, they're really starting to develop these new habits. So any kind of a change like that can be a little bit more difficult to navigate. But once they get to day 2 or 3, they're sailing smooth. I think, beyond that, once they get into the program, they may hit a speed bump here and there, like we just had with the holidays or a wedding or an event or something. But they learn really quickly that if they fall off and they, God forbid, gain a pound or two, they just get right back on the plan the next day, continue down the path, and they get the same kind of progress and get all the way to goal. So any issues that we hit are usually speed bumps, and they're rarely saboteurs to the whole program.
Yeah, no, it's very true. One of the things when we first started, the very first conversation that we had, I mentioned a couple of spots where I was kind of, I was getting ahead of myself, where I was nervous. I was going to deviate from the program. The truth of the matter is, when you start to notice the weight loss, which, by the way, after being on your program after just 24 hours, my first day I lost 2.5 pounds. Now, it wasn't like that every day, but I was starting to see weight loss on a daily basis. And that in itself is a motivator. In other words, I think why people stray from diets is that, they don't see any results either physically or on the scale. They're like, why am I even putting myself through this if I'm not losing weight? With your program, doctor, I was losing it instantly and noticing it. And I think that's an, and I remember, I know what I was going to tell you. When we first started chatting, I was afraid that I was going to deviate from the diet, not knowing that I was going to lose that, significant weight up front. And you said something to me. You said, Gary, there are people that go on cruises. What do you do on cruises? You do nothing but eat on cruises. At midnight, they have a buffet at midnight, for crying out loud. People go to weddings. You're not gonna not eat at a wedding. You're gonna have celebratory. Whether it's the 4th of July, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, you're gonna celebrate. You're not gonna not eat pie. Gary, I'm not stupid. I'm not telling you not to live. You enjoy it. You come back on. We make some adjustments. Boom, you start to lose the weight again. I mean, you're a realist as well. And that impressed me.
Yeah, you can't keep people deprived from foods on a consistent basis and expect to be successful long term. So, our patients, we realize have to live and eat like normal human beings. So you follow the plan at the beginning. It's usually the strictest phase, although it's really easy. Most patients are not hungry. And then once you get to goal weight, things in moderation. You don't have to stay away from this for the rest of your life or never have another glass of wine or this or that. You just do things in moderation and you stay within a 2 to 3 pound range. And again, we set that range for you. So let's say you get down to 190 pounds. And you're at goal weight, we'll set a range from 187 to 193. And again, long-term monitoring. If you slip out of that range, we're going to get flagged. We're going to reach in. We're going to get you settled back into those rails, and we're going to make sure that you stay there.
Yeah. And the food that we're buying is the same food that we would buy anyways. I mean, we buy lean, organic meats, whether it's chicken or bread. And you can, on your diet, you can have red meat twice a week, I had 6 ounces for lunch, 6 ounces for dinner, as long as it wasn't the same type of protein that I was getting. If I was having chicken for lunch, I couldn't have chicken for dinner, And I was having fruits, I was having vegetables, a cup here. And there's a period of fasting, but you know what? So you know what? You're not eating after 8 o'clock, and you can have a few almonds in between. There are free foods that you can eat 24/7, like cucumbers or celery or even lettuce. It's one of the easiest diets. I hate to even use the word diet. It's really a weight loss program that I've ever heard of. And by golly, it worked. Talk a little bit about accepting health insurance for your services.
Yeah, thank you. This is pretty recent for us. I'd say over the last 45, 60 days or so, we used to be an out-of-pocket program, and it was, a great value for what we provide. But there was enough people out there that just, especially with this COVID environment and people losing their jobs and stuff, they just couldn't do it. So we jumped into the pool. We jumped through all the hoops. We got credentialed with all the major insurance carriers, and we do accept insurance now. And the out-of-pocket expenses come down dramatically, and then we wind up billing the carriers out for the follow-up services. So it was important to me to be able to make this program available for those people who really, really need it, but just had some financial constraints. And it really opened up the floodgates. With New Year's coming and all the resolutions and insurance hitting at the same time, that's why it took me so long to connect with you. I'm just so darn busy.
Yeah, well, you are, and I can understand why you're so busy. The technology that you have that you implement in this program is outstanding. How does it work?
Well, we built this from the ground up. So we did our research. We vetted out the hardwares. We chose a body composition analyzer. We used to do all this stuff in the office. People would come in, they'd stand on the unit, they'd get all their numbers. That's how we assess their progress. About 2 years ago, and we actually were up to 10 brick and mortar offices. About 2 years ago, we transitioned over to a 100% virtual platform. So those same kind of units go home with the patient on day one, and they sync it up. Our staff helps them connect it with their cell phone. And all they have to do every day is just get on the scale like they normally do in the morning with their app on their phone open, and everything gets transmitted down to us. So it's automatic. There's no work for the patient to do. You don't have to send your weight in or text it in. And we watch it every day. Now, listen, we've got probably over 18,000 patients within Connecticut that we service.
Wow.
They've all been through the program. No one person or no one staff can watch those people manually every day. So the technology picks up the slack, and it does kind of the grunt work for us, and it monitors people on a regular basis. But it's set up to flag us when anything kind of falls out of range or patients need personal attention. And the communication is a super important aspect of the program. I tell patients, listen, if you could have done this yourself, you never would have come in and talked to us. People need help. They need guidance. They need support. And, in other programs, they're going to come in once a week or once a month and get weighed and get a pat on the back. It's every day with us. We're looking at patients every day and talking to patients every day. And you talked about motivation. When you get on the scale,
Yep.
if you see early, consistent, significant results, you're gonna get jazzed up and you're gonna be motivated just like Gary Byron was.
What if you're on medication, or what if you're diabetic? Is there a special program for diabetics, and can they even be on your program at all?
Oh yeah, they're a big part of our patient population. People with diabetes and hypertension and cardiac disease and high cholesterol and things like that. And the amazing thing to me, and this is really kind of the labor of love that's in it for me, I don't come in here because I have to do it every day. Those are my rewards. I see people, and I work in concert with their primary care physicians or specialists in a matter of weeks, literally weeks, get off insulin, oral medications, antihypertensive drugs, statins. That's the goal here, to get those people to throw away their medications and learn how to live so they don't need them anymore, is what it's all about.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you have changed my life for the better. When I took this job, which, in radio, I'm sitting down for hours and hours, talk radio, I'm just sitting down hours and hours. So a lot of times in the afternoon, I'm entertaining advertisers or potential advertisers, sponsors, taking them out for lunch, taking them out for coffees. I was probably about 10 to 15 pounds overweight to begin with. Then I take this job, and for the reasons I just mentioned, I put on another 15 pounds. So that's 30 pounds, over, more than I'm like, I noticed a difference in myself, in my face, in my waist. I'm like, I can't fit into this T-shirt I used to love, my favorite pair of jeans that was getting too tight. I'm blaming the washer and dryer. I'm like, but I knew deep down, Doc, I really did. And I thought it was going to take me months to, see the difference in me. But when I did the research and came up with Compass Fat Loss, like I said a moment ago, it was so instant that the weight was coming off that you're right. It motivates. It's cyclical because it motivates me to lose more weight, which I notice, and it motivates me to lose more weight, which I notice, which motivates me to lose more weight. So I got about a minute left. If you can just, maybe speak to why somebody should consider going on the Compass Fat Loss diet.
Yeah, where do I start there? First of all, if you have health issues, this would be number one for you. We don't want to. And we even get referrals from physicians all day long. We don't want to focus on the 10 or 15 pounds of vanity weight, although we do that. The people that are on these medications that are managing, quote unquote, their diseases, that really want to arrest and reverse those disease processes, those are the ones that need to see us first. If you're healthy and you just got to take off 30, 40, 50 pounds, that's a snap for us.
Right.
So we handle the whole gamut of patients, from, young and old, male, female. But if you need to lose weight for health reasons, or you need to lose weight for other reasons, and you want to do it sustainably so the weight doesn't come back and you're not yo-yo dieting, I got to say that this is the place to go. And if you want to do something, if you're really motivated, we make it so easy. There's a free consultation, 30-minute video to watch. All you really got to do is go to compassfatloss.com. We'll take you the rest of the way.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning. And thank you so much for changing my life for the better and getting me healthy. And compassfatloss.com. Dr. Kusher, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. God bless you.
Thank you, Gary. Great to see you.